It's the Bryant Corbitt Show.
Always spotlighting new and upcoming talent, and that's in all the arts. And today is no exception. We have a very special treat for you. We have renowned artist Rain Spann. Now, Rain, do you claim you're from Virginia or from Alabama?
I claim I'm from Alabama.
Okay.
Born in Alabama, and I was just raised in Virginia.
I want everybody to really know exactly how you got started doing art. I've seen your work, and it is absolutely amazing. How did you get started in this?
Well, so I've been making art since I was a little kid. So it's really just been something that I've been naturally drawn to my entire life. And my family can, vouch for that as well, It's just something that, I've just always been drawn to, and, just with, the support of just everybody around me, and just, literally nobody ever telling me that I could never, pursue it. I've just, always stuck to it and just always kept just developing, just my love for the craft. And, yeah, that's about as much as I can really say about as far as, me getting started. It was never really a choice. It was just something that I just did naturally.
And see, I think that is something very special because, you have traditional black artists that have paved the way, like Charles Henry Alston and Henry O. Tanner and Jacob Lawrence. Were you inspired by these famous black artists, and were you inspired by the work?
So I was never really inspired, so to say, immediately. I didn't really know about any of the famous artists until my first semester in college, and I took an art history class, and I started learning more about the different movements and things of that nature. But I didn't really know of any major or any super influential artists, that came before me until my first semester of college. I wouldn't really say that I was more. I was more so inspired by musicians than anything. You know what I mean? Just because I just listen to music all the time, so I would say I was more inspired by musicians. Just when I painted, and I didn't really have any artists that I would look at as inspiration or look at as an influence until my first semester of college.
So it really sounds like you were born with this, and this is a talent, or as the older people would say, kind of a anointing sort of thing.
Basically, yeah. And I think it's definitely that, and it's also just the fact that it's in my DNA, you know what I mean? My entire family just creates. So it's just something that I was just naturally drawn to because it's just in our DNA to create. That's what a lot of people in my family do.
Well, the work is really inspiring and really, really amazing, and you could tell you definitely know what you're doing. I've known your mom for years. She always posts your work. I guess the next question would be just how did you get involved in Showcase, and how did your work get attention?
So, yeah, I get this question a lot on my honestly, there was no plan. There was no plan. It was really just okay, we have, I'm making this art, and it started off as me just showcasing it, in high school, just me not even showcasing, but me just posting it on social media. That's what it started out, just harmlessly posting it on social media. You're not really looking, for any sales or anything like that, but it's just I don't really care about sharing pictures of myself so much. So, I just share pictures of my art, by the end of high school, that's kind of what people remember me for doing is just creating artwork, you know what I mean? So it started off as me just posting art. And then when I started my clothing brand, you know what I mean, it's turned into a little bit more okay, let's market now, get into branding and marketing. And then with the branding and marketing, it came with having a clothing brand. That's what helped me kind of establish a branding or a marketing concept with my art, which was just, just constantly just creating and constantly putting out content, documenting the process. You know what I mean? And just putting it out there more and more, relentlessly, just posting almost every day. And eventually, when you're doing that, in the community, people who are in the community before you, they start seeing you working. They want to link up with you. They want to work with you. You know what I mean? One thing leads to another, that leads to another, that leads to another. And, eventually you just meet the right people that can help you, just take it to the next level. You know what I mean? And So I say all that to say that it's just by networking and just being just a genuine artist who just wants to genuinely share his work. That's it. You know what I mean? It's just like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like just genuinely posting my work, having I guess I could say I have a drive to just get it out there and, you know, take it to new levels, because when you start to like reach new levels, then, you know, you start to really want more, you know, you want to create more, and you start aspiring to do more. And when you start aspiring to do more, you start attracting everything that you can. You start attracting everything that you need in order to do those things you're aspiring to do. So that's where that really comes from, you know, just aspiring to do more and just working at it physically every day to make sure that I can get there.
Well, you're definitely, you know, in the whole, you know, art world now. Have you met any of the famous artists, and not just black artists, but just artists in general, now that, you know, you're really developing a name and a reputation?
Honestly, I haven't. I don't think I've reached that tier yet. You know, like that's a few tiers. That's a few tiers away from, like, I guess, like where I am at. You know what I mean? Just like my like just like who I'm surrounded by. I'm also not really. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, you know, like meeting them would be cool, but it's not like it's not. You know, that's not something that I really aspire to do. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I really like the whole just like I really like having like one foot in that world and one foot out of it. You know what I mean? Like just like really sticking with like, you know, like the underground scene and just, you know, really helping people and just working with, you know, with people who are like also on the up and coming, you know what I mean? Just like doing their own thing and just, you know, just like, it's like I want to keep one foot into that world, but I don't want to just be completely in that world, you know? So that's kind of something that like I honestly like see myself doing a lot, and I don't know, I just like being in that position where I can have like one foot in but one foot out at the same time, you know, and that's just what comes to being an independent artist, and that you have that, you know, you have that liberty to do so.
That's a very great and cool attitude to have. Now, one of the stories that actually, you know, we have heard was that your artwork or one of your pieces was featured, had something to do with Will Smith or the Fresh Prince of Bel-Aire.
Yeah. So he didn't purchase it directly. It was more so the agency that was assigned. It was more so the agency that was like that had to do with decorating the Fresh Prince of Bel-Aire mansion for the Airbnb. They were commissioned by Airbnb, or they were partnered with Airbnb to basically just like decorate like the room, which was the dining area. And through networking, they found me through the gallerist who helped me put together my first solo show in DC. And yeah, they acquired the print, and you know, the rest is history. It was really dope.
What was it like when you found out that was happening?
So I didn't even know that it was, you know, I didn't even know that it was for the Fresh Prince Airbnb, you know? Yeah, because like when they told me, you know, they just told me they had partnered with Airbnb to, you know, like do this, that, and the third. So I was like, all right, that's cool, you know what I mean? Like that's like my first like, you know, like major like partnership or major like, you know, like sale, you know what I mean, to like a huge corporation. That's so like I was like, that's dope already. But my friend actually called me. He was like, yo, like, have you seen, you know, like this right here? And he sent me a picture of it on Will Smith's like Instagram, and I was like, that's cool. And then I realized, I was like, oh, that's like what they're doing, because I didn't know at the time, just like everybody else, that there was going to be a Fresh Prince of Bel-Aire, you know what I mean, like mansion for Airbnb. I didn't know that. Nobody else knew that, and I'm pretty sure they had like a non-disclosure, you know, agreement form. So like they couldn't really tell me the details. They could just tell me, you know, that it's for Airbnb, but that's it. They couldn't tell me what, you know, what Airbnb it was for. So yeah, like when I found out, it was super cool. It was super dope. And I mean, I think like what was really cool was just realizing that like it's permanently in there, you know what I mean? Like it's really a part of like, I guess like that history, you know, so to say. So it was really dope.
Right. It sounds dope. Now understand that you're going to have a showcase that's going to be coming up in this area, the Wiregrass area. Tell everybody a little bit about that and how they can be involved and what it all curtails.
So the entire showcase, the putting together of it was my mother's idea, and I contributed the name with the help of my little cousin, Dakota Eaton, and because he came up with the name, imagination room for like my room, you know, because he used to like live in Virginia and he lives in Georgia now, but he used to live in Virginia. He would always like look at my room. It's like the imagination room because that's where like I created it, you know, primarily. So one of like my ideas was, you know, to put together, you know, just like a showcase or a series of showcases that was centered around this idea of the imagination room, in which it would provide a space for like creative kids, you know, just to experience, you know, creativity at a level bigger than, you know, like preschool art class or, you know, like things like that, you know, actually like give them like an experience, like a fine art experience, so to say, while also like giving them a chance to like interact with other kids who really like art and, you know, creativity and like using their imagination, and just giving them the space to really like dive deep into whatever they want to do, and also show them like, you know, you can actually, you know, create, you know, and do this, you know, as a job if you want to do this, you know what I mean? And yeah, like that was my intent behind it, was just creating a space for, you know, the art kids who, you know, really want to make things and might not feel so confident to do it, you know. Maybe this to give them like the confidence to create more, or even like give them, you know, like the, you know, like the thought in their mind, like, oh, okay, I can create. I don't have to just do so and so and so and so. I can make art if I want to, you know what I mean? Because they can make art if they want to. Anybody can, you know. So like that was just like it's kind of just something that I just like that I want to do long term in terms of like getting back. And yeah, I really plan on taking it to a much further level, to a much higher level than it is now. But this is like the first. This is the first thing. It's like the first thing for it. And I really like the idea of bringing it back home, because there's so many people back home that like really support me, and they just don't have, you know, like I'm not saying that they don't have the ability, but they just, you know, they don't really like, you know, really like travel out of state so much, you know. So it was just like I really like bring it to them. I think that's a really cool idea, to bring it to them so that they can experience it firsthand, you know, without them having to like travel 12 hours, you know, to Virginia or in New York to DC or anything like that, you know, like bring it to them personally, because they've always supported me even before like any of like this small success has come into the picture.
And that kind of brings me to the next question. What advice would you give to up and coming artists and kids and young people that want to be where you are and they want to pursue their passion of art? Don't overthink. Create what you want to create. And don't be afraid to get out there and tell somebody about what you're doing. That simple. Don't overthink, create what you want to create, and don't be afraid to tell people about it. Wow. That simple. That simple. If you want to do it unapologetically and go at it full steam ahead. Like it's the thing is like, you know, like people love supporting people who are actively, you know, getting at what they want to get, you know what I mean? They love it. And like, you know, like there's people who, you know, even the people who don't support you outright, they still love it. You know what I mean? Like they still. That's the reason why, you know, like they might not like actively say it, but they're still watching because it motivates them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It motivates them, and the people who openly do it motivates them even more. You know what I mean? So if you want to do it, then do it, you know, at the highest level. And, you know, at the highest level when you're starting out, it just means just getting out there and just being unapologetically you and creating what you want to create unapologetically and telling people about it unapologetically. Even if, you know what I mean, if people don't feel it at first, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? That's not the point. The point is niggas them to feel it. The point is just to make it known that you're doing it. You know what I mean? So in 2 years, when you start to really like touch and like really get a hold on like what you really want to make and really and like with your vision entirely, people automatically have that thought like, oh wow, like you were just telling me this 2 years ago. Now look at you. You advanced. You've come so far, and that makes people want to like be in your corner and help you and push you even more because they saw that you put the work in. And that's one thing that like I really appreciate, you know, like my mom like pushing me towards just like really putting myself out there, you know what I mean? Because like in 2017 I was like live painting
one of these poetry nights, you know what I mean? Just like literally in the dark, just live painting. And it was like, even to this day, like in the community, you know, like people still tell me, I remember when you was doing this, that, and the third, you know, back in 2017, I looked at you, you're like, you're doing your thing, you stuck to it, you know what I mean? And that's like one of those things that it makes people feel like they're a part of your journey. You know what I mean? You have to like really, really, really create a world for yourself, and people will only want to like just come into your world and help you build it. You know what I mean? If you're genuinely doing it. So.
Wow, now that's really great advice. So, if somebody wants to be a part of this event, what do they need to do? How do they get in contact with you or the people involved?
So I have, there's a number of ways to get in contact with me. So if you have an Instagram, my Instagram is Rain the Neo, RAINTHEENEO, Rain the Neo. My mother's Instagram is Spann Yvette, SPANNYVETTE, and you can find both of us on Facebook, Rain, RAIN, SPANN, and Karen Spann, KAREN, SPANN. And yeah, like we're more than happy, you know what I mean, to like just let people in and just share with them like everything that's going on. And also, for people who don't have social media, you can contact me at an email, RAINSPANN, RAINSPANNPRO @gmail.com. So,
Yes.
any questions, all that good stuff, just message us on any of those platforms, and you know we'll get back to you and just let you guys know just what it's all about.
Is the date for the event August 13th?
It is August 13th. Glad you knew. It's August 13th, from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it's going to be like separated into like different sections. So the opening reception is going to be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. and that's when we're going to have like the media, the radio, the curators, and the galleries, like you know, all coming in. Then from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. we're going to have just like an hour for the family and the family only. And from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. it's going to be like just for the general public. So anybody who wants to come in from that time period can come in, you know, and all that good stuff.
Wow.
And yeah, so that was the first day. And then on the second day is Saturday, August 14th. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. This is going to be mainly where the vendors are. This is going to be mainly where the vendors are going to be coming in, and people can come out and support them. It's also going to be around, it's also going to be the same day where the paint parties are coming in. So we're going to have a kids painting and an adult painting party from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and family lunches from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. So this day is more so, you know, like a lot for like the family and just people who want to like come into the paint and sip. But we're also going to have, you know, like the gallery space open for the public from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So yeah, all the events, both days, and yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Great. What's the address?
The address is going to be Special Small Occasions, 301 Boynton Street, Headland Street. No, I'm sorry, 301 Boynton Street, Headland, Alabama, 36345.
Fantastic. All right. Well, this has been an awesome interview. Rain, it's been a pleasure to finally meet you. And your work is absolutely amazing and really fantastic. And we're really looking forward to the event. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's the Bryant Corbitt Show.